Dear friends, I hope you enjoy my presentation, or should I say performance, at the Israel Diamond Exchange. Diamonds are a very serious business, and I want to share with you a few facts about synthetic diamonds. First of all, their prices are crashing. Since 2020, synthetic diamond prices are down by almost 80%. Furthermore, we're expecting an increase of 70% in the volume of these synthetic diamonds that are going to be put onto the market in the next 12 months. It's also important to note that while synthetic diamond prices have been crashing, retail profit margins for them have been escalating up to approximately 65% profit margin. So we have a scenario where wholesale prices are coming down, yet retail markups are growing. I don't believe that consumers are getting a fair shake in this kind of an environment. Finally, most importantly, synthetic diamonds are a market, they're a business, they're a product, but they need to be sold with full disclosure. If members of the trade are selling synthetic diamonds and comparing their prices to natural diamonds, they must disclose the fact that synthetic diamonds do not retain value like natural diamonds. Synthetic diamonds cannot be referred to as real diamonds. They are not the same. I ask members of the trade, I beg you, please provide full disclosure. Man-made diamonds do not appreciate in value like natural diamonds because they can be created in unlimited quantities and are not subject to the same supply limitations as natural diamonds. Please remember these points. I hope that you enjoy seeing the presentation at the Israel Diamond Exchange. Have a nice day.
If I think about the diamond distribution, how do we get our diamonds? How do we, how we make money in diamonds? You could buy stuff in Africa for $150 a carat, and then you can sort it and sort it and sort it and select it. And this woman in Rodeo Drive, California, wants a 2-carat pear-shaped FVS2, and it's worth a whole bunch more money. So our ability to segment out and select out what we're selling, what we're doing, to get the right person, the right price, the right goods, you'll see that's the key. So this distribution, I thought, where are the problems? Okay, synthetic diamonds, I'm going to talk about Russian sanctions, big issue, but it's all about distribution. Where do your diamonds come from? Answer the question and you will deal with these issues. But it's not enough to talk about it. You got to say, what are you going to do about it? What are we going to do about this? And that's really an important question. First of all, I'm funny because usually I have, here's the screen. I knew there was something I could see here. Synthetic diamonds. Look, people make money. What are you going to do? Shoot them? Wait, I'm making money. A guy walks in the store, wants to buy synthetic diamonds. I shouldn't sell them? Well, depends. Short-term versus long-term. If someone brought you stolen diamonds, Los Angeles, New York, stolen diamonds, would you buy them? You can make money. Blood diamonds. Short-term profits versus long-term. Question, what do I do? I don't know what to do. Russian sanctions. We are seeing the world splitting apart. We talked today about this bifurcation of markets, bifurcation of synthetic from natural. Don't worry about synthetics, it's bullshit. But leave that alone, I'll talk about that. But what about the bifurcation of the natural market? What about the goods that are coming from Dubai? Do you know who owns those companies? So what are we talking about here when we think about this diamond market that we're in? How are we going to deal with, what are we dealing with when our customers ask, or even if our customers don't ask? So that's a big issue, these Russian sanctions we'll talk about. Mixers are making money while destroying diamond industry integrity. Who can you trust? What can you verify? Now, this business, this bourse, I'm so happy to be a member of this bourse. I remember the New York bourse and the Dubai, remember all the bourses. But the bourse was all about having people you can trust. That is the essence of our business. That is the essence of our organizations. So who can you trust? How can you verify? President Reagan, trust and verification. and is a declarative statement. I am telling you that it's okay. Is that enough in today's diamond world? And where are we going with this? The industry is breaking apart in two. Pesach, Yetziat Mitzrayim, splitting of the seas. Okay? That's what's happening here. Does Tiffany buy from anyone in this room? Why? How? Would they buy from everyone in this room? I don't know. The industry is splitting apart, and it's also individuals who are thinking about, what is my role? How do I find my place? Do I go to the right over here and only deal in so-called kosher diamonds, or I just, do the business? Branding segmentation. It was very interesting to hear Bears talk about the watch industry. Does anybody here have a watch without a name on it? Anybody? Is there any one generic watch here anywhere? But we brand things, and we don't only brand things, but we also brand people. If you think the diamond business is about sorting diamonds, not so much anymore. It's about sorting people. Who are you dealing with? Actually, it was that way all the time. And also, this whole idea of curation. Are you trying to sell steak to vegetarians? Is that where your money is going? Is that where your marketing is going? Do you understand your customer? Have you looked at your customer's website? Do you know if he has landing pages? Is he registering the clients? How deep do you go in this business relating to people? Because in the end, we're a people business. And then this whole question about source certification is coming up very strong. So let's rock and roll. Synthetics, in my view, are a threat to the integrity of the diamond trade. Our trade is destroying the underlying value of diamonds as a store of value. What does that mean? Why do you buy a diamond? Do you buy a diamond because it's pretty, it looks good? Hell, go to Swarovski. What are you doing with these stupid diamonds? You want flash for cash? Go to Swarovski. In any case, the value of having something that's valuable. I started in the diamond business really knocking on, I started with 5 double and stuff, but he gave me 4 grainers. They were JSI2s for $750. And I went to the west coast of Florida, starting in Naples, knocking on doors. And before I left, my mother gave me $5,000. I said, Mom, I don't want to take any money from you. I was a very independent guy. She said, no, don't spend it. Put it in your pocket. You'll talk different. There's no comparison to someone who was wearing a $100,000 necklace and how they walk and how they feel. I mean, it's just amazing. Try it. Put it on. You guys, necklaces? Okay, put on a $100,000 Rolex watch. Rolex is not so fancy anymore. Patek Philippe watch. Wear it for a day. See how it makes you feel. But my point is something is the value of having value. And we're marketing, promoting, selling synthetics as a replacement. Sell synthetics all you like. I don't care. Replacement. I have this, I have that. They're exactly the same. But they're not exactly the same. But that's how we sell it. Synthetic diamonds are not the equivalent of natural diamonds because they do not store value and are being produced in limited quantities. What was Bruce saying? 70,000. Come on, they're guys in China producing 2,000 tons of grit, which is abrasives, which they're now converting to produce melee, synthetic melee. And a lot of the better goods, they have VBSs. It doesn't matter of the quality. So there's no differentiation. My big point is that unlimited quantities of the stuff is showing up. Now, many, if not most of our trade are operating dishonestly and unethically. So a stupid article in Forbes. Rapaport says that synthetic diamonds are just, no, synthetic diamonds are fine. Tell the whole truth. If you're going to compare it to a natural diamond, fine. But don't say they're exactly the same if the natural diamond is scarce and holds value, and if the synthetic diamond doesn't. Tell the whole truth, not half-truths. It's full disclosure. Synthetics will not replace natural diamonds. It's not the same thing. It's not the same business. It's like, I don't want to be disgusting. Yeah, screw it. Prostitution will not replace marriage. Try that one on. Okay? There's different values that are at place over here. Okay? Consumers are overpaying. It won't be long now. You're all worried about synthetics. Don't worry. It's blowing away in the wind, and I'll show you why. Even from our good friend here, I gotta remember his name. Our speaker, what? Edan, good man. I'm using his data because who would trust my data, right? So here we have a story from Edan, and all I can say is, hey, I don't understand so much, but what the hell is going on? The prices is like poop from a goose. You're going from $1,800 to, what is this, $450 or $500? Like, hey. And this is only the beginning. There's going to be so much of this stuff, it's going to make glass look expensive. I don't mean glass, Swarovski look expensive. At the same time, profit margins, woo! Now, why would that be? If the price at the B2B level is dropping like poop from a goose, I mean dropping, why are margins going up? Maybe someone's not telling the truth. Maybe our good friend, the consumer. Now, you can fool some of the people some of the time, the rest of the people the rest of the time, but I don't think you can fool everybody at once. This is going to come out. People are going to know this because people are going to compete. Competition will drive the synthetic market into the ground. Not even a question. And, Edan is fine, but the idea that we should somehow worry about synthetics and change the way we do naturals, bullshit. Forget about synthetics. They're going to hell. If someone's running off a cliff, don't disturb him. Don't disturb him. Let him keep going. How are diamond prices doing? Oh, prices came down a bit. Again, Edan, thank you for the data. I don't want anyone to think that I'm making phony data. Okay? So this is Edan. So what the hell's going on here? This stuff's dropping what? 70%? This stuff, okay, went up because the United States government decided to throw $100 bills out of helicopters for a couple of years. But look at that. It went up, it comes down, but it's still up there. So what's going on here? And you're worried about synthetics? Ridiculous. Do you know I have CZ? It's $2.50 a carat. I'll put it up here, and I doubt most people can tell the difference. Certainly not when a woman's dancing in a discotheque. Okay? So the idea of prices and the whole idea of selling prices sucks, but this is going to come out. People are going to find out about this. It's not a Rapaport secret. This is really out there. Oh boy, 97.5. This is at last year's JCK. Now, why the hell are you comparing synthetics to naturals if you're going down to 99%? Compare it to Swarovski. Compare it to CZ. Why are you comparing it? Don't you look stupid? This is already last year, but now, we're elevating. We're getting smarter. This is the Hong Kong show last 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago. They don't even compare it. They just throw you a number. You want 2 carats, $189. And a lot of the stuff that's that big is usually higher colors, clarities anyhow. Oh, come on, GIA, please, 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 start certifying CZ. Come on, come on. Consumers have a right to know if it's a flawless or a VVS1 or a VS2. So this is where so why am I getting so excited about synthetics? Because we ourselves as an industry have lost our confidence. We're having some kind of a stupid identity crisis. We're natural, we're real. By the way, real is illegal. I'll explain to you in a minute. You don't use the word real when you're referring to synthetics. So now we're already going away from Rapaport, thank God. And we're just throwing numbers, 159 to 189. It's a joke. And the whole industry, what are we going to do? Because we want to make money. And there's nothing wrong about making money. Short-term, long-term, reputation. This stuff's about to blow up. Okay. The coming shakeout will be brutal for synthetic sellers. I mean, brutal. Not so much for those selling natural diamonds. They go up, they go down. But the synthetics are a one-way road to hell. They're not going to go up. No how, no way. Now, synthetic retailers, beware. Consumers will remember your name. Once they find out the real value of what you sold them, You can open a separate division. Why don't you sell some swampland? Or, in Israel, I can sell you property right opposite the Acadia Hotel. Really good quality. I mean, I can sell you land that is right opposite the Acadia Hotel. It's in the ocean. Okay. So the point here is, do you really think synthetics are a better deal for your customers than naturals? If you do, go ahead and sell them. And if the only thing you're selling is price anyways, the best place to buy diamonds price-wise in the United States is, who can guess? I don't sell. Where's the best? I don't know anything with consumers. God help me. But who do you think is the best deal in the United States for natural diamonds? Costco. Costco doesn't need to make money when they sell diamonds because everybody gives $100 a year membership fees, and they got what, 200 to 100 something million members. There's all kinds of models here. Okay, so Costco's there. But the point is this really a good deal? If you really think so, go ahead, go off the cliff, take your customer with you. But honestly, ethically, do you really think it's a good deal, or are you just in it for the short-term money? That's something that everybody should wake up in the morning, look in the mirror, ask their husband, ask their wife, ask your child, am what I doing so kosher? We support the FTC concept that consumers are best served with the broadest basket of products and services, including synthetics. The consumer should be able to buy everything, no problem. And I'm not against that. I'm not against synthetics either, just against the truth, the whole truth. However, as stated in our submission to the RJC, we request that there be full disclosure regarding scarcity and value retention when comparing synthetics to natural diamonds. If you're comparing the two, please show. If you're not comparing the two, I don't care what you say. But if you bring it out, if you put that natural diamond and say they're exactly the same, and you don't tell the whole truth, you are a disgusting, unethical liar. Sue me. That's how I see it. Tell the whole truth. So what is the truth? This is what I'm asking. The following statement should be required on all marketing material, grading reports, and invoices for man-made diamonds. I use the word man-made, see? I'm not saying. Man-made diamonds do not appreciate in value like natural diamonds because they can be created in unlimited quantities and are not subject to the same supply limitations as natural diamonds. I didn't say don't buy them. I just say, just put that statement on your invoice, put your statement on your certificate. Just let the consumer know. People say, well, they know anyways. So why are you afraid to tell them? They know anyways. This kind of a disclosure is a step beyond saying that it's synthetic because you're telling them what's behind the fact that they are synthetic. Now, but that's not all. Look at the absolute ridiculousness the natural diamond industry is facing. Man-made diamonds, synthetic, man-made, LGD, bullshit, whatever you want to call them, should have the same disclosure and regulatory requirements as natural diamonds. They should have the same. Treatments, disclosure for man-made diamonds should be the same as for natural diamonds. Anti-money laundering and counterterrorism regulations should be the same. If they're exactly the same according to the FTC, why aren't they exactly the same according to OFAC and FATF and all these other regulatory agencies? System of warranty requirements should be the same as for natural diamonds. I'm asking for a level playing field, but to be established in fair and transparent market competition. I'm not against competition. It drives business. I'll tell you a story. So we started in 9/11, right? So it's September 2012. I made a conference in New York on the 13th because everyone was afraid to go to New York. I purposely made a conference, and we had General, what's his name there, with the first synthetic diamond laboratory using HBHT in Tampa, Florida or someplace. And he had made nice fancy colored diamonds, big ones then. So this guy goes and he buys 2 fancy color yellow diamonds for his wife, 2 carats each. And she, struts around like a peacock. And her friend sees it. And her friend makes her husband miserable until he buys her 2 carat natural diamonds. So what do you think happens? The first wife sees the second wife is natural. She goes back to her husband and say, buy natural. Give me the real ones. And so this idea that there's some kind of a positive symbiotic relationship might exist. So I'm not against free markets, FTC, everything. I'm just asking for full disclosure. So you never know what's going to happen as you play around with this industry, because there's lots of opportunities. So I'm not against any kind of diamond or any kind of sale or any kind of profits, as long as you tell the whole truth. Federal Trade Commission. Oh, real. What's real? Here it is. What is it? Section number 23.27 FTC. Misuse of the word real. Real. Are synthetic diamonds real? No, they are not real. It is unfair or deceptive to use the word real, genuine, natural, precious, semi-precious, or similar terms to describe any industry product that is manufactured or produced artificially. Some of these synthetic yuts and putzes, they say, oh, Rapaport, you're calling it synthetic? How could you call it synthetic? Well, here's the definition. Cambridge, good university, Cambridge University Press. What is synthetic? An artificial substance or material man-made gem products are known as synthetics. So I guess Cambridge is okay with the terminology I'm using, even though some marketers don't like it. Back to real stuff. So we're talking about real diamonds now. Real diamonds are not just sparkly things. That's not a real business. Again, if you want to sell sparkle, go to Swarovski. They're valuable. They're really valuable. They support the livelihood of millions. Not just millions, millions of the poorest people in the world. Real diamonds are about commitment. Now, I know the world is changing. Certainly, I'm in business 45 years. I was born in 1952. The world's different, okay? But the idea of commitment, once upon a time, sex and marriage had a relationship. Marriage and children had a relationship. Sex, marriage, and children had a relationship that was called family. Now, I'm not against anybody for any reason. I love them, or they, or whatever, okay? But I'm not against cis. I'm not against normal people, or you don't call them normal. I'm not against cis people who decide to get married and have kids, blah, blah, blah. So I'm looking at the world, and I think we're now entering the post-Tinder era, okay? Because women are getting older, and they get older, they want to have kids maybe, and the terrible realization they got to sleep with the same guy for a while comes upon them. But fundamentally, we are in the post-Tinder era. People are getting older. Millennials are getting older every day. So when we think about the idea of family, and we think about the big thing, which is commitment, are you able to make a commitment? And then you give someone of great value. Yeah, it's worth, I don't know, 5 or 10 of your golf club sets. It's worth 2 months of salary, which I think was a great idea. But now you're giving someone something. And, you know, in a relationship between a man and a woman in a cis world, you know, she's jumping up and down, not because she just got a ring, because she got a guy. She's a man who says, I will love you. I will be with you for the rest of your life. Wedding vows are real things for some people, for a lot of people, for most people. So this idea of commitment, and you got to understand, I understand where millennials are coming from, because 50% of their parents are divorced. I understand that. But the fact is that we are still coming back to a world where 50% of the parents weren't divorced, and people do want to have a commitment. And what does a commitment mean? It means emotional and financial security. If you want to understand the real diamond business, understand the need that people have for real emotional and financial security. This guy loves me, and he gave me something worth a whole lot. And if I walk out on him or he walks out on me, it's going to hurt him financially as well somewhere. Something real, real feeling. Marriage is not a one-night stand. Engagement rings are not costume jewelry. If you really want to understand the diamond business, understand that. Understand that commitment, that gift of commitment. That's the basis of what we're selling here. It's important that we really understand the real value of real diamonds. I'm going to play a very short video right now. And this is probably the strongest thing I could ever show you. So hit it, video time, make sure it's loud enough.
Only thing I was able to hide and take with me, my mother's pearls. She had one string of real pearls she wore every day. Right. And I took it in my hand, and this is how I went to Auschwitz. When they opened the door, the Polish prisoners, the Jewish boys, were taking us off. I was terribly thirsty, and I said, Wasser, Wasser. And a boy went away and came back 2 minutes later with a bucket of water. Took the pearls, gave me drinks. That saved my life. You should know.
Play it again.
Only thing I was able to hide and take with me, my mother's pearls. She had one string of real pearls she wore every day. And I took it in my hand, and this is how I went to Auschwitz. When they opened the door, the Polish prisoners, the Jewish boys, were taking us off. I was terribly thirsty, and I said, Wasser, Wasser. And a boy went away and came back 2 minutes later with a bucket of water. Took the pearls, gave me drinks. That saved my life. You should know.
That woman is my mother, Susan Rapaport. If she didn't have those pearls, I would not be here today. So you want to understand diamonds, huh? What does she mean? You should know. What the hell should you know? Okay, so you're not Jewish. You don't understand Jews, maybe. Perhaps you don't understand diamonds, really. But you could be a divorced Arab woman whose only assets after a divorce are her jewelry. You could be a Russian running away from Putin, whose only assets are your wife's jewelry. You could be a family running away from communist China. It could be you, your wife, your kids, you. That is what the real diamond business is about. Real security. Sometimes life-saving. How many people after the war were able to reestablish themselves because of the jewelry? So cut out this bullshit about sparkle. Really understand diamonds. But I get emotional, so let's move along. So, mixing synthetics, mixers. Dishonest companies are mixing synthetics into natural. We should hang them like humming. Synthetics are not a threat to natural if and only if we can detect them. We are honest enough to disclose them. And here's the killer. We can differentiate them. We can actually separate them from the good stuff, from the real stuff. Now, this is becoming a very big problem with Melly. De Beers rose Melly prices, natural Melly prices, 30% in the first 2 months of this year. Natural diamond prices will fall to synthetic prices, which are going to be garbage, if we cannot separate the goods. It's not enough to detect them, as I'll show you in a minute. We have to have the technology of detection, but we have to improve the technology of differentiation, of separation. We are the largest recycler of diamonds in the world today. This is just one parcel that may come to us. Can we detect? I can tell you, do a sample, tell you between 0.8% and one tested 2% and another test of these goods are synthetic. And they're coming from pawn shops, which means that already 2-3 years ago, synthetics were put into the mix. But see the little red dots? That's what the synthetics are in that. And that's a cut from that parcel. And that parcel is, I don't know, 1,000 carats or something. Do you know how long it would take to sit there with a tweezer and look at the picture and then pull out the stones? -2.5, -6.5, -6s. We have to do more. And I'm very happy to speak out for the GIA, about the GIA. They're getting machines down, they're getting the technology, and we're going to have to use it. And the question is going to be, how much more is a parcel of diamonds that's 100% guaranteed not to contain any synthetics from parcels that are mixed, that we can't pull them out with the tweezer? This is like terrible work. So the technology of not just detection, but the technology of, what did I call it? Differentiation is key. And this is probably one of the most important things that we need to do. Now, the recycled markets. I'm so happy we bring recycled American single stones, 4 grainers and whatever, all kinds of single stones here to Israel. And we're doing, and Israelis make parnasa, they make a living from these stones. hundreds of people actually come and buy the goods. And that's wonderful because that's the mitzvah. Recycled goods, they come back in the market and they get bid on. There's values in an efficient market. And we actually give way, we give parnasa, we give sustenance to a bunch of people. So synthetics are destroying the ability for small traders to buy recycled diamonds off the street from retailers. In America, we have lots of people running around buying in these goods from these retailers. Mrs. Schwartz comes in, I have a diamond, I have a necklace, I have a tennis bracelet. I would like to sell it to you, Mr. Jeweler. The jeweler buys it and then breaks it up and sells those diamonds. But how do you detect synthetics on the road? Who bears the cost of this? The cost of testing reduces the price consumers get for the recycled natural diamonds. So when the goods are mixed together, not by evil mixers, just because that's the way the goods are in the jewelry, which is another story. But what happens here? So we're actually reducing the value of natural. I don't believe this nonsense about big diamonds. You know, maybe short term, 1 year, people come and they say, I'm going to buy a 3-carat, a 5-carat big engagement ring. They just don't know they're getting screwed yet. Okay, but they'll find out about it pretty soon. So the issue over here is that synthetics are a nightmare for larger companies too, that must test and retest them. How do you remove those diamonds from the melee parcels? How do you know when you go to a jewelry store in the United States and you're buying a ring that all the diamonds in there are natural? How do you know? How do you know about the diamond business? How do you know about these diamond people? How honest are we? How honest are our goods? How honest are the jewelry? You know, we got to clean our act up. Recycled diamonds offer one of the best opportunities for the diamond and jewelry trade. And consumers deserve the market value, fair market value, when reselling their diamonds. So it's important for us to clean up that market as well. And, you know, I'm thinking about this thing over here, best opportunities. Do you realize the United States is the largest polished diamond mine in the world? There's tremendous opportunities there for everybody, but particularly the U.S. jewelers. U.S. jewelers will make more money buying diamonds and selling them, buying diamonds from consumers and selling them. And here's why. Whoa, look at these numbers. Do you realize that there are 42 million Americans aged 70 plus? And there's going to be 57 million to 16% of the population. My friends, diamonds are forever. Little old ladies are not. So what's going to happen to all those diamonds? We can buy them. We can make money from them. We can recycle them. It's a great opportunity. And look at those millennials. Okay, those millennials are the bigger millennials, older millennials generation. Millennials are the generation. I like the Gen Zs, by the way. But anyways, 26% of the population. And here's the big joke. Some of these millennials, not all, are the most miserable people I've ever met. Not all of them, but a lot of them are great. But some of them are just like, you know, quiet quitters. Actually, maybe that's more Generation Z, but they're becoming nicer as they get older all the time. Do you realize these people are going to inherit more money than you can possibly imagine? Trillions of dollars. Because all of these 70-year-old alta cockers, I'm one of them, are going to die one day. And their money that they've been saving all their life is going to go to their children who are not going to know what to do with it. Maybe they'll buy the jewelry if we're smart. If our natural diamond NDC guys do their shtick, right? There's tremendous opportunity, my friends. Unbelievable opportunity, just looking at demographics. Now, America, it's different. American buyers, consumers, well, basically a pain in the ass. They are, but that's because they're Americans. No one's fault here, okay? But America's been doing like 48 to 54% of the diamonds that are being sold. This is the Bears data, and this is like the wholesale stuff. Not that much different when you look at the jewelry stuff, the diamond jewelry stuff. But the bottom line is that America is where the action is going to be. Now, I love China. China's a great place. Xi Jinping. Not so great. They're a bunch of communists. All I can say to you, I hope that everything will be fine and there will not be any, well, I'm going to talk about economic warfare in a few minutes, but I don't know how lucky you guys are going to get selling a bunch of diamonds to a bunch of communists, because the communism in China is on the rise. And I'm not against communism necessarily, but I'm just thinking realistically, hey, you know, where's the diamond business going to be? One thing I can tell you, I hope China continues and I hope China will prosper and they'll make agreements with America and everything will be okay. But if you don't have America, talking to my fellow members of the Israel Diamond Exchange, if you don't have America, you're screwed. I don't know how to put that easier. So America is really important. And I want to make that point. And I'm not going to show you all the statistics. I don't have the time for that here, but I can show you tons and oodles of statistics that show America is important. Also, America has some problems too, but it's there. Now, sanctions. Sanctions. Yeah, sanctions is like a funny little word, but it's like the beginning of an economic world war. I don't think anyone, I shouldn't say I don't think anyone, there are a lot of smarter people than me in this room, but let's try to be realistic. Well, we hope and pray for the best. The war in Ukraine should end. China and America should be loving each other. Ping and I should say Prime Minister, what is he? President Ping, okay? And President Biden, capital P, because he's the president of the United States, my president. You know, I hope they get along. I hope that they work things out. I really do. But, you know, there's problems and to ignore them because we want to be in denial, probably not such a smart thing. So let's consider the reality of the current political, economic, and social realities. When Prime Minister Ping says, hey, you got to be more, you know, you got to be more communist, man. It's the people. I mean, the key, I forgot the key phrase he uses. There's a key phrase he uses all the time. We got to distribute the wealth. Everybody's got to share. Okay. And every time he says that, Jack Ma's knees shake. Okay. But the truth of the matter is that it's a communist value country. And I'm not going to rule whether communism is good or bad. I'm simply going to say to you, it's different. It's social. And it's something that goes right to the root of the way that the world runs. And so it's not about Russia. Russia's invasion has triggered a series of economic sanctions. So good, we're not, well, we started shooting, they knocked down our drone a couple of days ago, but the fact of the matter is that it's not a hot war, it's an economic war. But make no mistake, there is an economic war going on that is probably going to intensify. And everyone's looking at Russia where the real story is China, but we'll get to that. So it's likely that whatever happened triggered a bunch of events that are intensifying now, and we are in real economic warfare with the United States, the EU, the G7, maybe the Western world, all kind of on one side, and you got Russia and China. They just met like this week, I think, or a couple of days ago, and you've got, you know, Iran there to kind of poke the bear a little, and then you've got all these other countries sitting on the side, watching. What's going on with these guys? How can we make money from this? And, you know, Dubai's the new Hong Kong. And again, you have to be a genius to figure that out because the Indian government, and I think Prime Minister Modi is a wonderful man and everything, but he blew the opportunity for India to be a diamond trading center by taxing the imports of the diamonds because some of the, I don't want to say anything. Some of our Indian friends, diamond dealers, etc., convinced them that we have to protect our market. And really, India is the third biggest market. So maybe there's a point there, but that's another discussion. Bottom line, they lost out on being a trading center. Bottom line, Dubai and Ahmed over here, boom, bye, let's go, baby, faster, faster. And if you're cutting diamonds in Botswana now, because the Bears and Botswana government said, hey, let's do more manufacturing in Botswana, you can't send the polish back to India. You may not want to send it to Hong Kong. Off it goes to Dubai. So Dubai is just going to grow and grow and grow because of different rules and laws that all kinds of non-minefield people made. But whatever it is, that's the story. I don't control the weather. I don't control what happens. I try to be aware of what's going on, but looks to me like Dubai's the new Hong Kong, which is going to give Dubai responsibilities. Anyways, we are at the first stages of global economic world war. Make no mistake about it. It's not just Russia and the US. China is exercising its military might while enforcing Communist Party rule over its economy and society. That's what's happening. Just read The Economist. I read The Economist religiously, so maybe it's there too. Existing USSR China likely to expand. Look, I didn't show you the graph about China, but in fact, the United States is giving the Chinese $300, maybe $500 billion a year of extra trade. So the economics of the relationship between the United States and China, you got China expanding in the South China Sea, building their military, And then you got America giving them $500 million a year, a billion, not million, billion a year. They keep doing this. I guess eventually China is going to start building fake islands around Manhattan. But the point here is this idea of money, idea of trade is coming on really strong. We can expect greater sanctions enforcement, currency warfare, my currency against yours, and competition for scarce resources. In fact, what is going on is trade is now a national security issue, and trade is being weaponized. I don't want to shoot bombs at you yet, but let me see if I can control you by controlling how much money you get. And that is what's really happening right now. And not only is it happening, I'm predicting it's going to get more intense. So we got to understand what that means for a diamond business, okay? The role of diamonds as a source of military funding is under increasing scrutiny. To governments, diamonds are money. You know, I'm afraid of synthetics. Governments know what diamonds really are. They understand the real value of diamonds, and they look at it as money that can be used to buy tanks, money that can be used to give Iran money to have a better war against Ukraine, all kinds of diamonds, all kinds of money, which is also a clarion call for Dubai. We have to make sure that at least if we're going to sell our diamonds, we can't control. Let me just keep going. Complicating matters are diamond markets in neutral countries, where India, such as India and Dubai, as well as regions in Africa and Asia, where it is perfectly legal to trade with both the US and China. I mean, that's normal. Why shouldn't a Dubai company buy diamonds from Alrosa, polish them, and sell them to China? Why not? It's perfectly legal. So I've got this bifurcation of markets where I've got this US, no, go straight, EU, G7, go straight. And then I can dance, I can do whatever I want, which is fine. Don't blame people for being legal. But here I am living in this, I guess, zoo where all the animals are out of the cages. So how am I supposed to deal with America? How am I supposed to buy goods? So diamonds are perfectly legal in one area and illegal in another, and yet they move freely across these boundaries. It's probably going to change too. Ethical factors, so it's not enough the law. Go try and sell Tiffany, guys. Because ethical factors are also complicating sourcing as brands and others, top-end retailers, US retailers, I'll be at the AGS conclave in a few weeks, right? Seek to enforce standards that exceed even legal obligations. So we're in an interesting world where things are changing, and the old diamond business, you can just buy it and sell it and not worry about where it came from, is changing rapidly, significantly, legally, and ethically. So be aware of that, everybody. And this is one of the greatest opportunities you're ever going to have in your generation. You know, we're just at Pesach. It's Chag Sameach to everybody. We're coming to Pesach, right? Pesach is an amazing holiday. We celebrate the freedom of the Jews from Egypt, the splitting of the seas, splitting of the diamond markets, the splitting. And there's a special mitzvah on Pesach that comes before Pesach. What's the mitzvah? Who knows the mitzvah? No, because to give charity. But where's the mitzvah of, but just the day before Pesach, what's the mitzvah? What? Bedika. What? Cleanup. What do you mean cleanup? There's a special mitzvah to look for the chametz. You don't just sit there and say, I bought the diamond from George. I didn't ask him where it came from. You got to go out there. You got to take a candle and a feather, and you got to creep around your house, and you got to look for the crumbs. Look for the crumbs, baby. That's the new definition of compliance in the diamond industry. So the diamond industry has an opportunity to become kosher for Passover. If we do compliance right. Now, it doesn't mean the other diamonds are bad necessarily. It doesn't mean that you can't have all kinds of cookies before and after Pesach or whatever you want. But if you want to be kosher, there's an opportunity. I was reading this statistic. 40% of products in the United States stores are kosher, have OU certification or other certification as kosher. But only like 4% are Jews. And most of them aren't even kosher. we find out that non-Jews are buying most of the Jewish kosher products. It's weird. It's amazing. Why? Because they perceive kosher products to be healthier, more original, or whatever the idea is. So that's amazing. Those are the real statistics. My friends, you want to make money in this business with all this crap going on? Kosher diamonds. Kosher diamonds. Be kosher. Oh, you're crazy, Rapaport. Is kosher really? Does that matter? Can you make money from it? Well, I remember when there was no cut grade on a GIA certificate until the AGS came along with the triple zeros, and then GIA made cut grade and everything was triple VG. How the hell can you make triple X's? It costs you 3% more. Well, it costs you 3% more, but you make 5% more. Now, 80% of the diamonds in RapNet are triple X's. Because I will do whatever you want me to do if I can make more money doing it. It's called adding value. One of the greatest opportunities for the diamond industry in general, and for the Israeli diamond industry in particular, and for you and me, is to add value to the products we sell by monitoring them, by knowing where they come from, maybe knowing where they go to also. So this is an added value story. This is an opportunity to make money. Or I would say in Chinese, weiji. Weiji is a Chinese phrase that means difficulty or what's it called? You're getting a challenge, opportunity. Wherever there's a challenge, there's an opportunity. Wherever there's a problem, there's a way to turn it around and make more money from it. That's how we have to think in our diamond industry. So knowing where your diamonds come from has become imperative for increasing numbers of buyers. This is promoting the integration and verticalization of the supply chains. Sophisticated diamond tracing technologies are developing. Bruce talked about Tracer today. They're great. Serin's doing stuff. Let there be 1,000 light candles, as they used to say in China. Let there be all different technologies. Let's use them to have kosher. I can get a kosher meal in Dubai. I can get a kosher meal in Mumbai. I should get a kosher diamond in New York. So the idea of adding value to diamonds by monitoring where they're coming from and using technology to do that shouldn't be difficult, shouldn't stretch it. The challenge for the diamond trade now, here's the problem, because the big companies can do it easier than the smaller companies. The challenge for the diamond trade is to create source certification schemes that enable the participation of smaller companies, dealers, members of our clubs in a transparent supply chain. Source certification has to be like a GIA certificate that goes with the diamond, so you can buy it and sell it 100 times, and you always know where the diamond came from. So we don't want to stop the trade. We don't want to stop competition. We don't want to stop all those good things, okay? But what we do want to do is we want to promote the idea that we are dealing in something that we have confidence that it's kosher. Efforts underway being stymied by governments. Not governments. People think the governments are governments. They're just not bad. They're not good. They're not your daddy. They're not your mommy. They're governments. And they do what they have to do based on their considerations. Now, the U.S. government, particularly the U.S. government, and I'm wearing the flag, and I believe in America, and I love President Biden, I love all our presidents, but governments are screwing up here, who fail to clarify the rules of the game. The governments are confused. They don't know what they're doing. At this stage, the U.S. does not know what they should do to ensure companies with sanctioned regulations. And they don't understand the diamond business. A lot of people don't understand the diamond business, but really, honestly, they don't know what they're doing. They don't even communicate what the current sanctions regulations are. So I'm getting all upset about this. We sent letters, we're nice guys, but now we're getting a little bit more grumpy or aggressive, I would say. So we have a problem over here. Governments come along, and I want to tell you, you know who the real hero of the Kimberley process is? This guy by the name of Harold Jeter, the Undersecretary of State in 1999, who I convinced to go with the idea of kosher diamonds. So I said to Harold Jeter, I said, listen, we know where the arms are coming from that are going into Liberia. You can actually find them on your radar screens. Why don't you stop those arms? Why you just stop sending machetes and guns to the Liberians who are killing these poor Sierra Leoneans? Can't do it, Mr. Rapaport. I said, geez, why not? He said, we have an agreement with the government. By the way, I think it was Ukraine. We have an agreement with the government that if they give us the nuclear weapons, we're not going to bother them about the sale of conventional weapons. I said, that's interesting. So sometimes we don't understand governments, what they do, why they do it. And maybe they're right. Nuclear weapons in the hands of terrorists? Maybe that's a good trade-off. It's not my call. It certainly is the president's call. So when we look and we watch governments, we have to understand they have different motives. They're not here to protect our industry. They're here to protect their government interests. And when you put all the governments together in a room, you get all kinds of horrible stuff because they're all looking after themselves. So don't blame the governments. Just be aware that there are things going on that may not be in our interest. So we have to worry about government regulations messing things up for us. So quickly, Russian invasion, February. Russia supplies 30% of the world's rough diamonds. March 11th, President Biden issues an executive order prohibiting the importation of non-industrial diamonds to Russian Federation origin. He uses the word origin. The phrase origin has significant legal meaning, implying that it excludes diamonds from Russia that have been substantially transformed, cut outside of Russia. Since almost all the diamonds coming out of Alrosa were manufactured out of Russia, the president's executive order had almost no impact on the supply of diamonds other than some banking regulations. The origin loophole rendered the president's executive order ineffective. Now, 1 second. Why would the president of the United States issue an ineffective executive order that did not reduce the cash flow to Russia? I have a tremendous amount of respect for the president, less so for the State Department. But what's going on here? Maybe India's a nuclear power, Pakistan's a nuclear power. Maybe there's bigger fish to fry. Maybe he did this and then his advisors said, but you can do it, but you can't really do it. But the bottom line is that the US government is screwing around, which is not good for our industry in a world that I just described with all these different political and economic interests. So, further, on 7, then the Department of Treasury said, they didn't use the word sanctions, but they said Alrosa is now a blocked entity. It is a sanctioned entity. So does that mean that you can buy diamonds that are coming from Alrosa and cut in India or Israel and then sold to America? Is that okay? Is it not okay? Does anybody know if it's okay? Does anyone have the guts to ask, is it okay? I do. So I sent the letter, and also we told everybody, don't put your Russian diamonds, source diamonds, not even if they're cut in India or elsewhere, don't put them in Rabbit. But the position of the Diamond Trade United States Jewelry Council that it's okay to import diamonds that are from Russian rough cut outside of Russia. All right. So after some consultation with the New York leaders, which I don't usually do, but they're really nice guys, I sent a letter to OFAC in the end of February that said this: please answer the following questions on an urgent basis. Is it permissible for U.S. entities, for U.S. companies to trade or import into the United States polished diamonds manufactured from rough diamonds purchased from Alrosa after the sanctions, whereby the diamonds were manufactured or substantially transformed outside of Russia by non-sanctioned entities? What's kosher? Tell me, Rabbi, what's kosher? The rabbi, he goes, I'm not going to tell you. I say, does substantial transformation of product purchased from the sanctioned entity render the resultant product free of sanctions? This is the exact words I used to the Office of Foreign Asset Control from the United States Department of Treasury. I asked the question. I don't know why no one else asked the question. I said, if no one's going to ask, I'll ask. So far, OFAC is hiding. I'm hiding. I'm OFAC. I send people to jail. I'm terrorist organization responsible, but I'm hiding from the whole diamond industry. Well, I'm not going to let them hide. This is ridiculous. Absurd. We need to have a level playing field. We need to know what's really going on. So That's one issue. But it gets worse. The U.S. State Department is talking about controlling, and the U.S. State Department, they're nice people, honestly. But they work for a government, and the government has other interests. They talk out of both sides of the mouth. They're the fine, wonderful people who have now voted Zimbabwe in as the chair of the Kimberley process. Wow. I mean, that's like asking not just the fox to guard the chicken coop. It's like, roasting the chickens for the fox. In any case, it's worse than that. Because according to OFAC sanctions, if an entity, say a Russian oligarch, owns 51% of a company, or three different oligarchs own 51% of a company, or maybe, I don't know, it could be a minister from some African country, and he owns that business more than 51%, and you trade with that business, you are now a terrorist yourself. So do you know the beneficial owners of the companies you deal with? Do you guys really know that? Do I know that? Should we know that? Somebody answer the question. So we get ourselves set up with governments that put us into positions that are kind of, well, I can attack you if I want, or not. I can play with you, not acceptable to me. Now, another thing is, how far do you go? I buy from A buys from B buys from C was maybe a sanctioned entity. How do I know? What does that mean for our free market? And it's not just retailers in the United States, it's dealers here in Israel and Dubai and India, everywhere. What about our industry? So we need to get clarity on what the rules are. Okay? Can you trade in these markets? I got 1 minute and 57 seconds, it tells me. So we're going to be okay. So it's our intention to work with other trade leaders and our U.S. congressional representatives. See, Congress gets elected. Congress cares about what we think. The administration, less so. Bureaucrats bureaucrats tend to stick around, but political appointees tend to come and go. So we're going to go to Congress, and we're going to try to find out the truth of what is going on with these sanctions. A major step forward would be adoption and integration of source certification systems on RapNet that doesn't require Washington. We just start putting green stars on RapNet if we have diamonds, polished diamonds, that we know where the rough came from. That's what we're working on, and we think this is the direction, because then everybody can see how much is a green star diamond worth more than a non-green star diamond? How much does it cost to get a green star diamond? And so those things are going to be happening. The way forward, given the fact that access to U.S. markets, G7 and other website markets would require higher levels of source identification, we're working with those that wish to establish rational compliance standards that can be approved by U.S. authorities. U.S. market's important, and we need clarity. We'll also be working with our congressional representatives to ensure fair regulations and, if necessary, legislation that enables a level playing field for a broad range of trade participants, including Israelis. Of particular concern is greenwashing by importers who import sanctioned goods undercover and then compete in the U.S. So here I am selling a kosher diamond. Here he is selling a not kosher diamond, and he's selling it against me. And I'm in the U.S. with all these laws, and he doesn't have to follow the laws, and he's cheaper than me. How am I supposed to compete? I'm not even talking about a case where someone bribes somebody in Africa, gets the rough 30% cheaper, cuts it, and then sells the polished against me. In OFAC's case, you go to jail. In other cases, you write it off as a business expense. So this level playing field is important. We call, I'm almost done. I'm a little cocker. Who am I calling? But I'm calling. I'm calling upon the U.S. administration, the Department of Treasury's Office of Foreign Asset Control, to reply to our request for clarification regarding the importation into the U.S. of Russian sourced diamonds, purchased as rough rosa and then manufactured outside. We call upon the United States Federal Trade Commission, as well as the World Federation of Diamond Bourses, IDMA, and the RJC trade organizations, to clarify their position regarding full disclosure of scarcity and value retention for the sale of synthetic diamonds, particularly when the sales compares the pricing of natural and synthetic, the whole truth. We request all RapNet members, if any of you are here, and I imagine there are, to refrain from listing any Russian source diamonds on RapNet. And I tell you, please don't do it, because we will screw you if you do. Yeah, we'll go to OFAC. I'm fearless. Do not put Russian source, even if it's cut outside of Russia, on RapNet. Don't do it. If we find you, very bad. I'm telling you, I'm begging you, don't put them on our trading network. The current situation provides many opportunities for members of the trade to add value to the diamonds they manufacture, trade, or retail. This is an opportunity to get higher prices for our diamonds, everybody, by something that we do, which is to trace their source. Kosher gets a higher price. It's a zero, almost done. While different markets will require different standards based on the laws of the countries they're in, the ethical standards of the market participants who they sell to, there is sufficient room for cooperation and standardization of procedures that will enable legal and ethical compliance for the markets we wish to serve. Guys, we can make more money, just like you could for triple X's, but pay attention to the opportunities that kosher diamonds can give you. Should you wish to follow up on any of the issues communicated in this presentation, please email me directly to martin@rapaport.com. I may not be able to personally answer you all the time, but I have about 5 or 6 people looking. I also want to do a shout out to, I don't know how many people we have on the internet. Hey, y'all, love you. Thank you very much for tuning into this. And we'll put this thing up. So thank you all very much. Chag kosher b'sameach. And we wish you really all the best. I love you all. Thank you.